All right, folks, we're back, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Marketplace Show Reset. This is segment number 2, where we focus on the subject matters of business, the economy, and public policy. We do have a lot to cover today. Our main topic, featured topic of discussion, is the pandemic business boom that was created here in this country. But what I'd like to do is kind of bring you up to speed and some headlines, if you will. It was reported earlier that U.S. inflation remains at a 20-year high, but core prices are moderate. Also, we have that I shared earlier about the CDC in terms of the fully vaccinated people who have experienced breakthrough cases. I'm not going to go back over that, but it's very compelling. I mean, at the end of the day, it's almost guaranteed that you won't become infected with the virus if you're vaccinated. But there's always that small percentage if you have immune compromised system that will happen as well. It is reporting also that many can't afford to grow old. There's a huge problem facing America's aging population. It's becoming prohibitively expensive to grow old. In a column for the New York Times, Michelle Cottle writes that growing old is an increasingly expensive privilege that few can comfortably afford. About 10,000 baby boomers turn 65 every day, with most seniors eventually requiring long-term care, but prices for support and services in the U.S. are astronomical compared to many people's retirement savings and benefits, and demand for care dwarf supply. Also, taking a look at recently the U.S. Senate. The U.S. Senate recently passed the $1 trillion, if you will, infrastructure bill. And according to the Newswire, bipartisan infrastructure bill wins enough votes to pass the U.S. Senate. Reporting out of Washington by Reuters, a $1 trillion infrastructure package that is top priority for U.S. President Joe Biden, securing enough votes to pass the Senate on Tuesday. A victory for the White House and the bipartisan group of senators who spent months negotiating it. Voting continued in the 100-seat chamber as well. Also reporting that the measure now goes on to the House, and the House has to take up now a larger bill, if you will, and that is a $3.5 trillion bill. Senate Democrats, which is the House of Representatives, we just talked about the Senate itself, the U.S. Senate, and them passing the infrastructure bill. It's now up to the House representative to be able to pass the $3.5 trillion budget. Senate Democrats approved $3.5 trillion budget resolution in key step towards passing major economic and package out without GOP votes. So where there was bipartisan in the Senate on the infrastructure bill, there was no votes, just all the Democrats in the House of Representatives. The Senate Democrats approved a $3.5 trillion budget resolution early Wednesday morning, setting the stage in the weeks and months to come for the party to craft and attempt to pass a sweeping economic package, expanding the social safety net that President Joe Biden has made a significant agenda item without the threat of a filibuster from Republicans who oppose it. The vote was 50-49, and the measure passed after a lengthy series of amendment votes known as a vote-a-rama, which started on Tuesday afternoon and went until just before 4 a.m. Eastern time. The Democrats control the House of Representatives, must next take up a pass and pass the budget resolution. Majority Leader Steny Hoyer sent a letter to the colleagues Tuesday saying that the chamber planned to return the week of August 23rd to consider the budget resolution. Also reporting as well, we have U.S. airlines are now basically saying that there are 3 major U.S. airlines that are saying that they will not mandate shots for their unvaccinated workers. According to the Newswire, the CEOs of Southwest Airlines, American Airlines, and Delta Airlines say they are not requiring unvaccinated employees to receive the shot, breaking with United Airlines' mandate that workers get vaccinated by October 25th or face getting fired. All right, so what I'd like to do now is, like I said, we're going to take a look at the issue of just exactly there are winners and losers in this in the scheme of things when we start talking about just exactly the adverse effect of the pandemic and the positive effect of the pandemic. And so clearly, when we look at those who have been impacted by this, the numbers are astounding. But incredibly, they are businesses who are literally created in this environment. You would wonder, how would anyone begin to want to create a new business with the type of volatility in the market or in the economy? Well, it's quite the opposite. And so I'm going to report on just exactly what the reports are saying in terms of those businesses that are created. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a quick break. And when I come back, I will then share that information with you regarding the report regarding the impact to the economy and businesses. We'll be right back. We're back, and breaking news: the CDC strengthened its recommendation that pregnant people be vaccinated against the COVID-19, pointing to a new safety data. The CDC strengthened its recommendation that pregnant people be vaccinated against COVID-19. The new guidance brings the CDC in line with recommendations made by the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists and other medical specialty groups, which strongly recommend the vaccination. All right. So, like I said, we want to take a look at the the effects of the coronavirus, novel coronavirus, COVID-19, as not the human toll, but the toll on the economy, but also the toll on businesses. And so what we're going to do is we're going to share with you the entrepreneurship during the COVID-19 pandemic evidence from the business formation statistics, uh, really just sharing what they're saying. And that, again, this white paper, this position paper, National Bureau of Economic Research, was released on June 2021. So what the report is saying that the COVID-19 induced recession, hence COVID-19 recession, began with an extraordinary large contraction in economic activities. The net employment contraction between February and April of 2020 exceeded 20 million for total non-farm employment. Since then, employment has recovered substantially, but as of April 2021, it is still more than 8 million below the level in February 2020. The massive contraction and recovery have been very uneven. Existing small businesses have been hit especially hard, especially in sectors such as accommodations and food services, healthcare services, and other services where remote work and remote interaction between businesses and consumers are difficult. Even in sectors that have experienced a net increase in jobs from February 2020 to early 2021, such as finance and insurance, existing small businesses have exhibited indicators of negative net growth, business sentiments, and recovery through early 2021. This characterization of existing small businesses being hit very hard with only limited recovery contrasts with the patterns of new business application from the Business Formation Statistics, acronym BFS. After initial sharp decline from late March through May, new business applications started to surge by June 2020. This surge has continued through May 2021. Overall, calendar year 2020 is the highest year on record for new business application since 2004. That's the first year that the BFS is available. So imagine going back to 2004 in terms of record number of new businesses. More new businesses were created in from the May, or let's say June of 2020 to a year later, we're in August of 2021. More new businesses were created in the pandemic, going back as far as 2004 is when we saw the highest numbers of new businesses created in this country. 2004, imagine that, and we didn't have a pandemic then. That was a normal year. So just imagine you have on a regular basis. Here's a piece of nugget for you. You have in this country, in the United States, prior to the pandemic, every month in this country, over 500,000 jobs. I'm sorry, not jobs. Over 500,000 new businesses were created. Again, let me state that in the United States of America, prior to the pandemic, at the tune of every month, 500,000 new businesses were created in this country. So you understand the breadth and the gravity of just how important new businesses are, and the fact that when you put things in the proper context, that the pandemic is now responsible for creating more new businesses. When the numbers were grave and grim, the pandemic was responsible for creating more new businesses than they were going back as early as 2004. The surge in new business application in 2020 and in 2021 include a surge in application for both likely employers and likely non-employer businesses. And so we look at that, and we really got to look at the numbers and understand that these numbers are just incredible numbers. These patterns contrast not only with the experience of existing small businesses in 2020, but also with business applications in the Great Recession. In the Great Recession, new applications for likely employers as well as actual employer business startups declined sharply. The surge in new applications in 2020 and 2021 for likely employer businesses is surprising, especially given historical experience and the evidence and expectation early in the pandemic. The decline in new applications for likely employers, businesses early in the pandemic exhibited a similar pattern to the sharp downturn after the collapse of Lehman Brothers in the fall of 2008. Even some aspect of the rapid fiscal policy response did not appear to bode well for starting new employer businesses in the pandemic. A key component of the CARES Act of March of 2020 is the Payroll Protection Program, known as PPP, designed to protect jobs of existing small businesses. Given the unprecedented nature of the shutdown of the economy in the pandemic, it is not surprising that there was strong support to protect jobs in this manner. However, from the perspective of economic theory, for example, you have 2018, subsidizing incumbents can potentially suppress business entry. Views from this perspective, the surge in new business application in 2020 that has continued in 2021 is even more surprising. The analysis in this paper provides insight and guidance into the underlying and likely source of these surprising patterns. In considering these issues, it is critical to distinguish between new application for likely employers and likely employer businesses in the Great Recession. Application for likely new non-employer businesses increase consistent with the counter-cyclical component of self-employment in the pandemic. The surge in new business application has been especially large for likely non-employer businesses, with the surge 4 times larger than the increase in the Great Recession. The BFS is a derivative from the administrative data from the Internal Revenue Services, IRS, on employer identification number application. All employer businesses in the United States are required to have an E&I number to file payroll taxes. Non-employer businesses also file for an E&I if forming a partnership or an unincorporated business. Even new sole proprietor non-employees often file for an E&I to facilitate their business activity, for example, working with other businesses or opening a business bank account. So there you have it, folks. That is the report on the impact that the pandemic has had on, the job, in terms of not just job creation, but in terms of creating new business in this country. What we'll do, we'll come back, we'll take a break. We'll continue here on the Marketplace Show Reset, segment number 2 on business, economy, and public policy. We'll be right back.
Time. It has a different meaning in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It goes backwards, forwards, it stops. St. Croix is rooted in history. So much of it still remains untouched.
I remember running on these streets as a kid. This shop was right down there. It opened the same year I was born. This is where the original Crucian hook was born. It's the symbol of these islands. And I wanted to have my hands in that very same history. I want to be able to pass it down to my family while still putting a new spin on it.
The U.S. Virgin Islands, we have an amazing culture that developed over time from all over the world.
St. John feels so untouched. Being underwater is like another world. There's no worries, there's no stress. I can just escape. This is my happy place. My passion for scuba diving came at just being fascinated with the water and wanting to be a mermaid. And this is the closest thing I can get to achieving mermaid status. Canadians just love being outdoorsy. We live for adventure, so we love anything hiking, being on the water, diving, snorkeling, and St. John has it all.
It's like some spirit is protecting the island and keeping them raw. The Makujumbi watches over the island. From up there, they keep the evil spirits away. The nightlife in St. Thomas is absolutely amazing. There's always something going on. Everyone comes together to dance and catch a vibe. We're always celebrating. We celebrate freedom, culture, the food, the smell, the music. It's always a celebration. The people here are probably the most priceless thing because they keep the culture going. There's so many different influences on these islands. Food from all kinds of countries coming together in new dishes. All of us came from somewhere, but all of we call this home. The VI is a new melting pot. This is where the past and the future comes together.
Wow. Freedom right now means the ability to do what we actually set out to do without, any prohibitions, without any, man-made hurdles.
By the end of the Almighty, we forward in this generation.
And so uniting our region, letting us see each other and understanding that together we are actually much stronger. Continuing to spread that unification. All these various islands we haven't been yet that just dying to feel the tempo. We're gonna go give it to them.
Redemption song. Redemption song.
I always remember Frederick being, just from a very early age, very smart. When he got older, he became very popular. He was Mr. DJ, Mr. Entertainer, always dancing, always dancing.
I'm sitting here at MTV Networks, and I'm thinking to myself, well, Caribbean people have contributed so much to the world and to world pop culture. I started to think about all of that, and I was like, wow, these are all the things that make great television.
It's exciting, very exciting. I always figure he did something like this. I never know to what extent it would be, but he always had the potential to do something like this.
From that moment, I knew that Tempo was going to be something special, something new, something different, because there was this confident, easygoing, proud black brother. He got right into it, told me all about what he had in mind, all about what his visions and his dreams were. I was hooked, line and sinker.
For me, Tempo is really embody the Caribbean, not just the music and just the videos, but it's the life on different islands.
He was the main person that pushed me and supported me, and if it weren't for that push, I probably wouldn't have hosted up until now.
In the short time that I've been here, almost a year and a half that I've been here at Tempo, I have really seen how hard you work, and I can only imagine how much work you have put in over these past 15 years.
Because I believe that I've been ordained to do what I'm doing, and that is to put my fist up and say Caribbean is the most extraordinary place on earth.
All right, folks, what we'll do now, we'll go straight to WSGX Bloomberg for the rest of the program, so we're able to bring you the latest breaking and developing news from around the world regarding what's happening with coming out of Washington, coming out of the financial markets business, as well as regionally, as well as in the immediate area. We'll go straight to the Bloomberg report.
All right, folks, what we'll do now, we'll go straight to WSGX Bloomberg, the rest of the program. So latest breaking